First View TV, your cutting-edge television station, interfacing Africa and the rest of the world with excellent documentaries, business news, investment opportunities, lifestyle, and much more. We're currently on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also view while on the move at www.firstviewtv.tv. First View TV, changing the narrative.
It's good to have you with us this wonderful day, First View Television Studios. On this occasion, I will be having a chat with a gentleman who is globally renowned in his professional endeavors. Gentleman has done tremendous stuff in the medical sector. It is my great pleasure to introduce here on our set this day, Professor Olumade Adeuja, a renowned neurologist and epidemiologist. Prof, it's a great pleasure to have you with us.
You're most welcome.
This very wonderful day.
You're most welcome. I am delighted to be here, and I thank you for inviting me to this chat, as you said. I'm so excited. And I know at the end of it, we'll all be blessed by it.
Countless of our viewers this day are looking forward just to have an insight on Professor Olumade Adeuja's story.
My journey in life started from Enugu Eastern region, where I was born over 80 years ago. My father was a civil servant, my mother a complete housewife. After a few years of my birth, they were transferred back to Ibadan. Originally, they came from Oderemo and Ijebode. From Ibadan, he was transferred to Lagos, and I can now begin to quote dates. In 1945, we were transferred again to Umuahia Ibeko, where my father worked for a few years. And in 1949, he was transferred again to Zaria. He was working at the railways at that time. And we were there until 1951, during the go-slow period, when we came back to Ibadan. And that was the beginning. And then I went to school in Ibadan Primary School, and went to Ijebode, Oluwa College in Ijebode, now Adeola Odutola Comprehensive High School. And after my education there in '57, right from my youthful days, my childhood, I had wanted to be an engineer. And my father used to introduce me to his friends at that time as this is my son engineer. Until 1958, following a prophetic revelation to me that I should be a doctor. That was when I changed from being an engineer to being a medical person. And thereafter, in 1960, I decided to make it to England to read medicine. And in 1962, I got admission to Newcastle upon Tyne University to read medicine. And I can tell you, with humility and with the glory to God, that I have not regretted a second choosing to be a doctor. And when I finished there in 1967, I came back home to the UCH after 1 year, and then the journey started. In 1968, I got kitted to go into the Nigerian Army during the Civil War. I was posted to Agbo and Asaba. After 3 months or so, they replaced us and I came back home to Ibadan and continued my work at the UCH. In 1971, I returned back to Newcastle to do my postgraduate in medicine and then qualifying as a neurologist under powerfully eminent neurologists. Henry Miller was one of my professors, and David Shaw, and others. And it was such a marvelous time. I not regretted one day being a doctor. And this is a very interesting story. I got on very well with all my teachers, to the extent that after my graduation in Newcastle, I was the only Nigerian given the opportunity to do his house job at the main hospital, Royal Victoria Infirmary, Newcastle upon Tyne. The story continues, and a very interesting part of my life came in April 1967. 1967. I was on my way to do my usual Saturday chores, to buy cooking oil for myself. When I was about to get into the bus, someone descending from the bus, alighting from the bus, just called me Olumade, which nobody calls me in Newcastle. They call me by my other name, Gay. And I looked, I saw a beautiful, light complexioned lady, whom I had known as a young lady in Ijebode, the daughter of the proprietor of Riwa College. That is Chief Timothy Adeuja. That day, I said to myself, this is my wife. Meeting her for the first time, I said, this is my wife. And that was how it all started. And we came back together in 1969. 1968, we returned back home. And in 1969, to the glory of God, we got married. And I am the only one who attended Riwa College, the school of Chief Timothy Adeuja, who married his favorite daughter. And to me, it had been a blessing.
I'm just so marveled and so in awe of just listening to your story. I've had the privilege in the past of hearing little bits here and there, but the way you've actually given us in the wholesome manner, it's just been amazing. So let's take it on from the family side, because I know that you're incredibly passionate about your family. Let's have a little bit of insight with your beautiful family, and I guess we would all be more blessed by hearing.
We are blessed. This union, we are blessed with 6 glorious, amazing children. And God has been so wonderful. We started with 2 girls, and I said, I'm a man now, 2 girls. So we returned to Newcastle in 1971, and I had to play the Newcastle, tricks, and God also assisted me. I went in, and there came a boy. I need to tell this story for the world to know. When that child was, my wife was pregnant with this 3rd child, I had a dream, and God gave me the name of the child. But because our next door neighbor had German measles, my wife went to the antenatal clinic and they said, "Oh, Mrs. Adeuja, we understand you live next door to so and so. They have German measles and you are pregnant. I'm sorry, you have to get this pregnancy terminated." So I was working in the ward of a Royal Victorian family. So she called me to the clinic and the doctor wanted to educate me. "Doctor, what you know, all the complications of German measles, the child may be born with impaired brain, liver may be damaged, the heart may be damaged. But God has already told me the sex of the boy and the name. So the God who told me that cannot now tell me I should lose the pregnancy." So I told the doctor, I know all the complications. And that was how we left it. When she was returning home in 1974, the doctor gave her a letter to see obstetricians at Louth. So that they may be able to counsel her to change. But to the glory of God, we refused, and the child was born. Today, he is the only doctor amongst my children. And no complications of German measles whatsoever. So once God has already given me the go-ahead, who am I to change? That's the story. So we now went on, and when I was a commissioner in Ogun State in 1976, the first commissioner of health in Ogun State in 1976, we had another child and a boy. And then we came back to Ibadan after commissionership. I had another boy who is a lawyer. And then on the day my wife turned 40, we had another child, a baby boy, who will be 39, who is 39 this year, to the glory of God. That's my family.
Fantastic, fantastic. Quite inspiring. Prof, you are highly revered by a lot of your students all over the world. Interestingly, just earlier on today, as we sent out the promo banner, we've been getting a lot of response from America, from England, excited, wanting to be on this program just to listen to you. Can you share with us why you think you still have this kind of impact on so many of your past students?
I can say divine guidance in everything I did. Because I took the students, some of them much younger than myself, as my children, and I couldn't do otherwise than be kind and be good to them. And because I have passion for teaching my profession, I had to inculcate in them the essence of good medicine. And I used to tell them in those days, I am not training you or teaching you to pass examination only, but I want you to be a good doctor. Because I had the best training in Newcastle, and I thought all my students who will pass through me should have the same opportunity of being a good doctor. And if they are going to be honest to themselves today, they can rate themselves and say, I'm a good doctor. Because I believe, to the glory of God, I am a good doctor.
Amazing. So the key really is the passion.
Passion, yes.
You effectively passed on your passion to your students. On the note of passion, today here in Nigeria, the health sector seems to be a most deplorable state. And not just the health sector. Literally all the sectors have fallen from a place of grace to the lowest level we can ever imagine in the country. What would you say, particularly within the health sector, needs to be done from the government's position to address this issue?
I've been in government before, and I served as Commissioner for Health in Ogun State. I know how we used to make budgets. If government is serious enough to fund the health sector as it should be done, our healthcare system will be one of the best in the world, because we have best doctors trained and the trainers. And as you see these days, things are getting worse. Only recently we heard that the ASU, the teachers, went on strike for almost 8 months. And previously they've had the same strikes because government is not doing what should be done to fund the educational system well, talk less of the health. Because these people have to be trained by people, some people, before they get qualified. So if you have structures and you do not equip them, you have the manpower very well trained. Without equipment, they cannot do much for the patients. So I believe sincerely that one of the reasons we are not having the best health provision in this country is because of lack of funding. Funding is important. According to WHO standard, you must disburse a certain percentage of your annual budget to health. But what do we get here? We get less than 10%, less than 5% for health sector. It gets us nowhere.
Quite concerning, Prof. I want to push a little bit more on that frontier, and that is within the health infrastructure side of things. But looking at the academia, you benefited from the best of the best, and you were able to, in the same manner, transfer that quality of education to your students. Within the academic sector today, particularly the colleges of health and the university teaching hospitals, there seems to be a huge gap in terms of proficiency. Again, I would like to hear from you what your thoughts are in looking at how we can actually scale up.
We cannot just sequestrate them and make them best people when the entire society is not right. So it all starts from the society, the family and the society, and then the government. So if we haven't got the right concept in that area, we are joking. Even these days, those I trained in medicine are not like the ones we are training now, because the home setup is different. We had the best care from our parents in those days, and they invested not only love, care, and time on us. Where is it these days? They're not investing on their children. They want the teachers to teach them in school. It's not possible. So we have to start from the home.
There we hear it. It has to emanate from the home setting.
Yes.
Prof, what keeps you going? You are well over 80, full of energy, and you look incredibly fit and well. What's the secret, Prof?
I want to thank God once again, because I owe everything I am now to God. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That is the grace I enjoy. And I don't play with the grace of God. Even when I was outside this country, in Saudi Arabia, where I was for almost 15 years, I thoroughly enjoyed my time as a practicing doctor and teaching people. It's the grace of God. I can't say I know to do it. It is not by my power or by my spirit, but by the Spirit of the Holy Spirit. Not by power, not by might, but by the Spirit of God.
Fantastic, fantastic. And I also know that you have some pet projects that you nurtured for some while, and it's grown to become itself a standalone operational structure. Can you share with us about the project?
Well, to the glory of God again, when I came back home finally from Saudi Arabia, and I was not invited to any of the growing teaching hospitals to teach, God gave me my own ministry, that I should look after people free of charge in the Church of God. And that is why I have a small clinic in the Church of God, in my own church also, Church Bodhidharma. And where we consult and see people. They may have doctors elsewhere, but they come in to see us, and we see them, and they know they cannot get the same care in terms of investment of time and so on. When you come to the clinic, you will go when we finish talking. It could be also to tell you about Christ and so on and so forth. But all the same, by the time you leave the consulting room, you are a different person. Because you have not only seen me, you would have encountered the Holy Spirit.
Fantastic. That is really, truly awesome. Prof, it's really been wonderful spending this time with you. Quite illuminating and incredibly inspiring.
Thank you.
Before you leave, we'd like you just to give a parting word. Our viewers are keen to hear some words of wisdom from you. What would you like to share with them?
If you permit me, I will want to comment on our government and ASU. There's an adage that says, what you do not know the value of, you will abuse. A man who does not know the value of his wife will abuse her. If you do not know the value of your car, you will abuse your car. The country here, Nigeria, does not value the teachers in the universities. So they are being abused. To be a lecturer and become a professor in the university, after your 2-1 or 1-1, one degree level, you are attracted into the university as a lecturer. You will do research, you will publish papers, then you become lecturer 1, lecturer 2, and then you begin to go on to become a senior lecturer, a reader, and a professor. After that, someone sits in his own office in Adeuja and says, who are you? And they treat you shabbily. I think our government has to have a rethink on how to deal with the lecturers. They are not fighting for their own sake. All the structures in the universities are dilapidating, and they want it put right. And of course, you want to remember that they have to be properly remunerated for what they do, and you are quarreling with them. On the other hand, for my younger colleagues who are practicing medicine, know one thing: that patient who comes to see you could have been yourself on the other side. Remember it. That patient could have been yourself. Remember that you are a doctor today, looking after patients by the wisdom of God, and God is watching every step you take, looking after His creation.
Prof, greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Viewers, here you have it. I've had personally a most wonderful, wonderful session with a renowned Professor Olumade Adeuja. Once again, I want to thank you all for taking time watching this program. I truly hope that you have found it to be quite beneficial. So as we carry on, please continue to tune on First View Television, share our program, and we're excited to have you.
First View TV, your cutting-edge television station, interfacing Africa and the rest of the world with excellent documentaries, business news, investment opportunities, lifestyle, and much more. We're currently on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also view while on the move at www.firstviewtv.tv. First View TV, changing the narrative.